think it's just really stepping into my power and my confidence and my calling. The more I do it, that fear starts going away. And I think that's what makes all of us badass manifestors, is when we start to tune in, we listen to ourselves, the shoulds start to fall away, other people's opinions start to fall away, and then the things that we bring into our reality are the things that we really, really want.
Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the quantum coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of the Badass Manifester podcast. Woo! Okay, so we're going to start off this episode a little bit different, and I want to ask you right now to think of 3 things that you are most grateful for in your life right now. I want you to just take a second and run off those 3 things to yourself, to someone that you're with. Maybe you're in your car, you can say them out loud. I am grateful for X, Y, and Z. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for the love in my life. And I am so freaking grateful to be able to move my body. Simple. Simple energy shift that makes such a difference in your day, in your life. Just simple gratitudes. Wow. And something else I'm beyond grateful for is today's podcast guest. We have Dr. Jess Nichol up in the house here, and she is just such a light. She is a past QCA student as well, Quantum Coaching Academy, and she shares a little bit about her Quantum Coaching Academy experience and all the tools and transformation that she's been through, but also how she helps women really optimize their life by taking their big visions and chunking them down into an action plan so that they can achieve their dreams. It's pretty amazing. And Jess is such a perfect example of the high level of coaching that comes out of QCA. And before we dive into today's episode, I want to just put this out there. We are in pre-launch right now for the Quantum Coaching Academy. And what that means is that we've been building up the waitlist for quite some time. And if you're not on it, you're going to want to get on it. And I'll tell you why. Here's how the waitlist works. So if you know you want to join QCA, or you are curious about it, or you want to apply to it, or it's something that you've thought about doing, getting yourself on the waitlist before May 1st is the only way to save $1,000 on your tuition. And here's how it works. Once you get on the wait list, you will then get a series of emails. And in those emails, it will direct you on how to apply early to the program. If you apply early to the program, you have an opportunity to save $1,000 on your tuition. What happens is after you apply, you're directed to make a refundable $500 deposit, completely refundable, pending your application approval. So when you make that deposit after you apply, that is the only way for you to save $1,000 on your tuition. So then after you get the partial approval, you and I hop on a 20-30 minute call together, and we make sure it's 100% a fit for you. If it's not, I refund you your deposit back. No problem whatsoever. All good. And if it is, your deposit saves you $1,000 on your tuition. So I highly recommend, if you have been thinking about joining QCA, or you want to apply, or you know you're going to want to be in the next round, we have limited spots available, and the waitlist is already filling up those spots. So if you want to get in to the program, but also you want to save $1,000, once you get on the waitlist, you're going to get emails. In those emails, you're going to get to apply. Once you apply, you're going to make your deposit. And once we get on a phone call, you're either going to put that deposit towards your tuition or you're going to get it refunded back to you. So it's a win-win all the way around. If you are ready for this, I would say this is your opportunity to get in on QCA at a price that it will never be again. Right now, the program is at $6,500 tuition. And if you get the early bird, it'll be $5,500. And it will never be this price again, because in 2022, when we relaunch, it's going to be at a completely different level. So if you call to this program, if you've been waiting to find a coaching program that provides spirituality, neurolinguistic programming, Reiki, you're going to get 4 certifications, and it's going to be absolutely life transformational. Our students are absolutely crushing it. Some of the students are just launching their coaching businesses, getting everything set up, booking discovery calls already. Some of them are, having 5K months, 10K months, and feeling so confident in their ability to bring people through transformation. And that's really our goal, is to help you feel so capable and so confident in your ability to help others that you are highly, highly compensated for it and that you are a sought-after coach. So, yeah, if you want to get on the wait list, get on the wait list. I can't wait. And I'm so excited for you guys to enjoy Jess Nichol's energy in this episode. She is absolutely amazing. Make sure you follow her and tag us and let us know what your biggest takeaway from today's episode is. Without further ado, Dr. Jess. What's up, badass manifestors? I am so excited because I have a dear friend, past student, Jess Nichol, as our guest today. She graduated from the Quantum Coaching Academy, and she is amazing at helping people, at helping visionaries create the vision that they have in their mind. She is a passion project and biz strategist. She helps hold space for people's big dreams and creative endeavors. And we were just talking, I was like, you're a professional brainstormer, action taker, and helping people finish what they started, which is like such a huge thing in the entrepreneurial world. I think a lot of people are good at starting things and they need help finishing and bringing their big visions to life. So I can't wait to jam out with her today. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be here. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Yay. So just fill everyone in on just about a little bit about you, who you are and how you came to be who you are, coaching and helping women really stepping into taking action on their vision.
Absolutely. So, funny story, I actually have my doctorate in chemistry, and I was just so unfulfilled, so burnt out, so overwhelmed. And I always loved and wanted to help people. And I went down, the yoga teacher training path. And through that, I realized that I wanted to take my power back. Like, I didn't want to work for anybody else. And that's kind of what led me onto this entrepreneurial journey. And through that, I realized people are always coming to me for ideas, for insight. And I was meant to be a coach. I heard Ashley's story and it just resonated so deeply with me, similarities with the yoga background and, a friend saying like, hey, Ashley, you're a coach. And knowing that, I wanted to be a good steward of people, because it's one thing to, help your friends out. And it's another thing to be really good at your vocation and to hone those skills. And you're taking somebody's like heart and soul into your hands. And I felt that it was really, really crucial to be trained as a coach and not just you know, try to fumble my way through it. I really wanted to have that background, and that where Quantum Coaching Academy came in, and that really changed the game and everything. I learned excellent boundaries, any past mistakes I had made, coaching friends, like where I like stepped over the line or didn't quite do it right. And it has been such a game changer in my life.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy. And I feel like that is, really like what you teach people and help people with is helping them realize that, hey, you have big dreams. Like people were saying, you're a coach, like be a coach. And you're like, okay, well, I should be a coach. But if I want to be a coach, I should get training because that's the action that I need to take in order to like be an amazing coach. Right. And so I think that it's a really good example of what you actually help women do. Like everyone has ideas and it takes something to bring those ideas to life. It takes something to make it happen. And so I would love to like dive into that more. But what I think is really cool is, your story sounds so familiar because it's very similar to my story and my journey. And I think that that's also what people are going to get from this episode is like they're going to hear your story and what you do and really resonate with that. So thanks for sharing that. What inspired you to finally say, I'm going to do it? Because I think it's part of the journey of like women having like, oh, I want to do this. I want to start this business. But then all the objections and excuses come up. So like, what was the pivotal moment for you? Was that a hard decision for you or was it an easy decision?
I want to say it was really easy. There was definitely that resistance, but I felt it so deep in my body. And it was the first time that, like, instead of ignoring like that deep body feeling, because I never felt like that with chemistry or anything else I've pursued, because I switched my major to psychology. I've always loved people. And there was several rainbows actually that came up. One was around the sun, there was another one, and I knew that in my body, the feeling was so strong, the passion was so strong that when I brought it up to my husband, normally when I'm like, oh, I want to do this or I want to take this course, he's just like, oh, okay, okay. But my energy was just so there and so with it that he was like, okay, like, let's make, like, this is clearly something that you're so passionate about and you really want to have happen. Let's make it happen. And so it was this deep inner knowing.
Wow. That is so cool. That is so cool. And I think a lot of people can hear that and feel like, I don't know if I've ever felt that deep inner knowing, or I don't know what that would feel like. And I think that's just when like all the doubt creeps in. I actually remember messaging with you on Instagram and you being like, I really want to take this program. And then you were like, but I'm not ready. You were like, actually, I don't think now's the right time or something like that. And then like a few days later or something, you just like signed up and paid in full. Is that
Yeah.
like, do you remember that?
Yeah, because sometimes we try to make the decision on the spot in the moment, and sometimes we just need to step away. And I needed to step away. I needed to get out of my head because all of the decisions I had made in my life up until that point were all in my head and they weren't serving me. I wasn't happy.
Mm.
And I just knew, like, with all the people that had come to me in my life for essentially coaching, but at the time I had no idea that I was coaching, right? Like, I didn't know that's what people were seeking me out for. And I just I just knew that this was what I needed. And I knew that I needed the tactical training and the tools, right? Like knowing the tools, knowing how to use the tools to give me that confidence in my coaching, but also just to be a good steward of my clients.
I love that. Yeah. Having that level of integrity to be really good at what you do. Like Jess doesn't do things halfway. She does them all the way, which is why she is who she is for women because she helps them go all the way. And like, You have to go all the way to be a doctor, and you have to go all the way to be an amazing coach, and you have to go all the way in order and in being a mom, which you are, you know what I mean? So it's really cool. Very, very cool. It all fits together.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So would love to kind of dive into like the topic of practical manifestation and how it fits in with the way that you help people with their passion projects and their big visions.
Yes, absolutely. So once you dive into the spiritual world, suddenly the rug gets pulled out from under you. There's no stairs. You're just floating in the ether. And it can be really hard to grab onto something because everybody's talking about energy and your frequency and your vibration, which is great. It all has a backing in science. But what do you do with that, right? Like
Mhm.
the hard part about things like manifestation is so many people, or your big dreams is, oh, well, I just want this to happen. I really want to write a book, or I really want to be a coach, or I really want a new king size bed. Well, do you have a room big enough for a king size bed? Do you like actually want to spend time one on one with people in a coaching relationship? Does that sound exciting to you? You really have to break those things down into practical steps and take action, because it can feel like, oh, if I'm just manifesting, I'm just dreaming and hoping for something, but I can just sit on my couch.
That was me in the beginning of my manifesting journey. I was like, I'm just gonna like imagine this and I'm just chilling. I didn't understand the action part.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Or the practicality side of just like, yeah, I wanted a flat screen TV when I was younger. And did I get it? Yeah, but did I have the space for it? No. Right? Like, so it's just like, what's practical? Yeah. Okay, cool. So like say more about this because I think it's really interesting. Like even like the book as an example, like people want to write a book. Like where are they going wrong?
I think what happens is we fall in love with the idea of the dream, and it's so easy to stay in that space of just being in the ether and of being in space, and it being like, oh, someday I'll write a book, and just staying in that like dream wonderland. But you have to want the responsibility of your manifestation. And so the responsibility of that is sitting down and writing. It is coming up with an outline. It is coming up with the stories you want to tell. It is consciously thinking about, why would somebody want to read this? What am I helping them with? What stories are going to get them from point A to point B in this journey that they go on reading my book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. And if you don't want that responsibility of writing every day, it can be so easy to say, I want to write a book and never write it.
Mm, yes. So it's really about being willing to be responsible. I think for a long time, I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur because I didn't want the responsibility of having my own business. And I think a lot of people have that come up. And what's interesting for me, like what changed that from my experience was like I actually don't have a choice because it's my calling. You know what I mean? It's my calling to do this work. So it pulls me forward and I figured it out along the way. So looking at the big vision, it's scary when you're like, oh my God, I want to have a multi-million-dollar business that impacts, hundreds of thousands of people. But whew, that's way too much. I could never do that, you know? But it's really just one step at a time.
Oh, for sure. Nobody steps into their coaching business, or any business for that matter, making millions, right? I was telling Ashley before we hit record that starting my business, I just graduated from QCA first round, August-ish. I made 2,500 in my business last year. Brand new business, making revenue. Like that's huge, but
Huge.
it's because I made and took the action, right? I'm never going to be $1 million brand if I don't take the actions that get me there.
Mm, so powerful. So powerful. And she's like tripled that at this point. That she and it's growing, right? But I love that you can celebrate that, because I think a lot of people, when they're starting their coaching business or any business, they're not celebrating every single step, every single win along the way. And I find, from a manifestation perspective, like that is super key. I'm the visionary, right? Like I'm the type of person that has the big vision. I'm the type of person that can see the whole picture. And I'm not the type of person necessarily to lay out the plan step by step. Like that's not my strong suit. That's what I bring other people in for. And I just remember in QCA, Jess would like ask me a question about like, how long is this part of the program? Or what are the steps, or what's the checklist for this? And you just like gave me all these checklists. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is just such a good example for how we're all so different and how we have different strengths. And you like that strength of yours, in order to like chunk things down to make them really actionable and really practical and move them forward, is completely different than my strength of being a visionary, right? And then if you can have ego vision and like micro vision at the same time, it's like, whoa, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all meant to work together. Like none of us are meant to be in this silo. And if you're not celebrating the small steps as you go, now that my train of thought comes back, um, you're not going to be happy when you hit the $1 million. You're not going to be happy when your manifestation comes in, because maybe things have shifted. So it's about breaking it down into the small steps, and each of those small steps becomes a reward, becomes a victory, becomes something that you want to do. Because if you don't want to do it and you don't make it exciting to do, you're not ever going to complete it.
That's amazing. What would you say are your like top tips for people that are struggling with this, like moving their dream forward? What are some of the easiest steps that they can take to kind of get the ball rolling?
Oh, for sure. I like to give people the visual analogy of somebody needs to be running in front of me, like taunting me with like ice cream, and someone behind me chasing me with a chainsaw. So, right, because creating your own business, you have to build these deadlines and rewards in for yourself. So it's that positive reinforcement of the little things that you really enjoy. You know, if it's a little celebration, maybe it's like a cup of tea or a new journal. A bigger celebration might be buying from a woman-owned business that you really love and really want to support. And then that pressure deadline behind you might not be a boss, it might be a biz bestie. Like it might be accountability friends, it might be a coach. It can look like so many different things, but the more of those you build in, the more fun it's going to be. And when you feel that fear come up, you're reinforcing that instead of it being fear, it's excitement of pushing you into the unknown, because you're giving yourself this reward that says to your body, hey, it's safe. It's safe to expand. It's fun to expand. And these butterflies you feel aren't fear, they're that joy, they're that excitement. So maybe it's a candle that you light, maybe it's an essential oil. Like if you want to sit down and write a book, you reinforce yourself with that smell. You have an accountability buddy that you tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna, you know, write this many words today. And QCA is a great example. You built it into the program. We had peer coaches and peer clients. So there's this giant network of support of let's all show up on calls together. Outside of the calls, we're meeting with each other, and there's this reward system of celebration with each other and this sisterhood of community and this network.
Wow. That is really powerful. And I can relate to that so much, as far as just like when I started my business, like feeling like I was building it in the dark and like not knowing where I was going. You know what I mean? And like not having like that support and not knowing where I'm going. And you're just like, like it can feel overwhelming. So I love that having someone behind you as accountability, a check-in partner or a coach. I mean, AKA Jess, that's what she does. Um, and having that reward in front of you. Like, yes, that is so good. That is so, so good. I love that. And so I'm sure people are thinking, well, who could that person be? Or, how do I know if it's the right time to invest in something like that? Or, you know, I don't know, like maybe they don't even want to hold themselves account. I'm not sure like what the objection could be. I feel like it's just fear that comes up for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
How to combat that? How to combat that voice and show up and do it anyway?
I think that comes into the practical aspect of manifestation. If you don't really want what you're trying to manifest, it's not going to come to fruition. You're not going to build those systems in. And if it's something that you've looked at and you're like, no, I really, really want to do this, you're going to start to ask around or put yourself in positions that might connect you to different people or connect you with that idea. And if it's your passion or your purpose, like you said earlier, the universe is just going to pull you and pull
Mhm.
you. And it just, do you want it to be hard or do you want it to be easy and fun?
Mhm.
Because if you're fumbling around in the dark, it's not going to be nearly as fun as if you just start talking about it and you break it down into little pieces and you look at them and you do them and you keep going and you start to build that momentum versus, fumbling around in the dark and you're not necessarily even going the right direction.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The power of support, the power of support moves things forward. It pulls energy forward. I love that so much. That's so good. Wow. Okay. So if you're listening and you have an idea or you have a vision or you have a dream of what you want to do, can we put them through a little like way of feeling into their body if it's right for them? Like how can they start to identify like whether it's right for them and like what is the next step for them?
Yeah. For everybody, I want everybody to start with the root chakra. And if you've
Okay.
never heard of the root chakra, it's at the base of the spine. It's our foundation. It goes down through the legs and it has to do with feeling grounded. Because if you don't feel grounded, it's really hard to build on top of that. That's kind of your foundation for listening to anything in your body, is
Mm.
this sense of being rooted and safe and secure. Because another piece that comes up is if you don't feel safe and you don't feel secure, it's not going to happen. You're going to become combative to whatever you're trying to call in because you're living in this fight or flight fear mode.
Mm.
So, walking barefoot, digging in the dirt, yoga, seated, anything that like gets you to settle down into your body first is going to let you listen versus if you're like running around. Like if anybody's listening and like driving a car, it might be a little bit harder right now to get rooted and to listen. So I think that's like definitely step one
I
is
love
that rooting and grounding.
that. Makes a lot of sense. And then once you're rooted and grounded, bringing up the vision or bringing up like should I do this? Like bringing up the decision that you want to make of like how to move forward and feeling it in your body and feeling it if it feels like a yes or a no, right?
Yes. And it might feel like fear. So it
Uh-huh.
may not be a no. It may be butterflies. It might be nerves. Those are the same thing. It's just your perception of them.
Mm.
And sometimes your body may not have enough information. So it might be like, like almost like feeling static, like, ooh, I don't know. And sometimes you just have to play with it, and not just in your body, like play with the energy that you're trying to call in, like sitting down. If let's say it's a book, for example, sitting down and writing. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like writing. Now my hands hurt, all this stuff. And you're like, oh, now like maybe it wasn't a book, but you're like, I still want my message to be heard. It could be a podcast. It could be a YouTube channel. Like trying to
Yeah.
get to the core of what you're trying to accomplish. If it's you telling your story, also brainstorming the million ways that that could come into your life, right? Because we get so attached to this one way to manifest it that we shut off all the other channels. But maybe that one way we haven't done it because it's not just fear, it's like I don't even like writing. Like what are we doing here?
Yes, that is so good. That is so good. And I think a big overall lesson that I've heard as we're talking is just really being able to check in to see if it's something that feels true for you, ultimately. Does it feel true for you to do this? Are you doing it because someone told you to, or you see someone doing it and you want to do it, or is it actually like your truth and your calling and what you want to move into creation? Yeah, this is such a good conversation. Thank you for sharing. So, do you have any well, first I have to ask, what makes you a badass manifester?
Hmm. I think it's just really stepping into my power and my confidence and my calling and doing that. And the more I do it, that fear starts going away. Like just being more comfortable, just being me and
Mm.
being confident in that. And I think that's what makes all of us badass manifestors is when we start to tune in, we listen to ourselves, the shoulds start to fall away, other people's opinions start to fall away, and then the things that we bring into our reality are the things that we really, really want.
That's so powerful. I was going to say, do you have any last words of wisdom? But I feel like that was it. That was totally it. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Jess. I'm so excited. Where can everyone connect with you and find you and hire you and all the things?
You are so welcome. You can find me on Instagram. It's probably my favorite place to be at Jess L. Nichol, and that's Nichol. If you prefer Facebook, my group is Boss Goddess Tribe because it's really about becoming the boss goddess of your life and stepping into your true power and finding that balance between, life and the things you do for money and just making it this one cohesive whole because you're one being and just being in that power and sharing that with the world.
Mm, yes, so good. So, so good. And Jess is here for you. Like, message her, connect with her, tag us, let us know what was your favorite part of this episode and conversation, because it really is such a powerful conversation. And if you need support in bringing your passion project to life, if you need support around really being held accountable to creating your dreams, Jess is here for you. So reach out to her, connect with her, join her group. And if you have questions about QCA, she's happy to answer them for you because we're relaunching in the next round in May, which is super exciting. So yeah, she's awesome. She's an awesome resource, an awesome person. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.